All right, so we're continuing the mimer that we're learning in Torah Ohr about Yehuda, who Yehuda, as we well know, is not, is the Mashiach. Here it is the Mashiach. And so these are the things that Mashiach is going to do. This is, the Torah says clearly. What is the Mashiach going to do? This is the blessing. It says, well, it says that he's going to be the ruler. It says, Lo Yasur Shevet mi Yehuda. He'll always be the leaders of the Jewish people will always be from the tribe of Yehuda. And the Torah leaders will be from the tribe of Yehuda. And it says that the nations will gather to him. And it says that he'll tie his donkey to a vine, and his another type of the son of his donkey to another aspect of the vine, and he'll wash his garments with wine, and his eyes will be red with wine. What's going on? What does it mean? What type of blessings are those? So Rashi says that simply there's going to be a lot of grapes in his area, but it must be something a little deeper than that. I mean, that's what the Torah is telling us about Mashiach. So let's see. We're now on page Mem Zion, but this is the end of a paragraph. So let's just go back to the beginning of the paragraph. No. Sorry. There it is. So we said what? What is Mashiach going to do? What is Mashiach? Mashiach, it says, he's going to make human beings into human beings. That right now we're not really human beings. Now our eyes are covered, our ears are covered, we don't understand, we don't feel, we don't really perceive that what God is and that God is, and that God is creating us and there's nothing really except for God. It's an amazing miracle that God gave us the Torah, and that he's giving us the Torah and he wants us to serve him. And when we feel this, we'll feel a tremendous love. And this love is really hidden inside of every Jew. It's hidden inside of every Jew. Feeling how valuable and precious and amazingly real God is. And how this will, when we feel this, this will invigorate us, enliven us, make us dynamic, make us feel responsibility, happy that we're in this world for an amazing purpose. And everything that happens in this world is a message to us and a challenge to be a better person, to be a better human being, to be a better Jew, to be more in tune with the Creator. So that's why God put man in the world. The world before God put man, the first man in the world, was not really the way it was supposed to be. And God put man in the world in order to make it a blessed place, a meaningful place, a holy place. Ella, but here, let's say this is where we are. Ella, what did I do? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Second. All right. Ella, but afterwards, Yigorish, man was evicted from Gan Eden. Kolomer, man was made. He wasn't even supposed to die. Man was supposed to be created to live forever. When he ate from the tree, that's what death came into the world. But he was supposed to live forever because this the responsibility we have to God is eternal, right? Man was put into heaven, Gan Eden, is heaven on earth, and to elevate it, So this is a never-ending job. But it's like a person that enjoys his work, or a doctor, a lawyer, a street sweeper, whatever it is, but he enjoys his work. He feels that he's really getting something done to make the streets clean. People feel better. They feel more, how do you say, positive about life. You know, sometimes it could be the janitor in the hospital does more for people than the doctors in the hospital. Could be. I mean, with the doctors nowadays, no, that's not really saying very much, but then right in Crown Heights, they revealed that the doctors were killing everybody. In the first month, they stopped sending people to the doctors, to the hospitals. Nobody died. Since then, nobody's been dying from this corona thing. Anyway, sometimes the janitor can do more than the doctor. A person that enjoys his job, enjoys it, he doesn't want to stop. One of the worst things is the Rebbe was very against retirement because you feel meaningless. So that was man. Man had the best job in the world. Adam had the best job in the world, but he didn't do it. His job was, don't be an egotist, serve the Creator all the time, right? Where everything, your thoughts, your speech, your action. But he didn't do it, and he was evicted from God, from heaven, Gan Eden, heaven on earth. Kolomar, Adam. He stopped being Adam. He stopped being a man. We talked about this before. It says in the HaTanya, in the 24th chapter, that if a man really looks like a man, then the animals cannot harm him. That Daniel in the lion's den was essentially not a miracle. That's the way things are supposed to be. And animals are afraid of Adam, man. But the problem is we're not Adam. Therefore, he had to go and fix up his soul. And it's been going that way for the last 5,780 1 years and a half, almost. When will this really be fixed? When will Adam really be Adam? In fact, he'll even be higher than he was. All this experience that we have had for the last 5,000 whatever years will actually improve us. Then that's Moshiach. Moshiach is going to fix up Adam, that human beings will be human beings, will be what we really are. But some people think Mashiach is going to come, and then the whole world is just going to be like one big heaven. We're just going to go to heaven. We're just pleasure, just getting pleasure all the time, and just basking up there with God. Well, that's not so. That's not so. This idea of receiving pleasure and that's after a person dies. Nobody wants to die. We want to be here in the world. We want to give God pleasure. The main thing of Mashiach is responsibility. Connection to the Creator. And B'zaman Mashiach, in the days of Mashiach, then man will really be man. Shene'emar, I love this, says about Mashiach, Hine Yaski, I love, they consider my servant, Yarum Vanisa, high, exalted, elevated, Me'od, very much, Me'od, very much. This is the same letters as Adam. Aleph, Daled, Mem, Shehu, Otiot, Adam. This is the letters Adam. And it's also the first letters, Aleph, Daled, Mem, Adam. He was, before he sinned, he was the ideal man. David, it says, was the first Mashiach. David Mashiach, the Rambam says he was the Mashiach, and Mashiach is going to be Mashiach, the Mashiach ben David. He'll be the final Mashiach. Adam, David, Mashiach. Shebizman Yamot Mashiach, then the days of the Mashiach. What are the days of the Mashiach? The days of the Mashiach is going to be work. Then the temple is going to be built. Then we'll really be able to serve God. Then there will be completed what Adam is. Va'azai, then will be Zman Hayom Lasotam. Then we'll really be able to do what God wants. Now we know what God wanted before. We knew what God wanted, but we weren't the way God wanted. We could do, say, even think what God wanted, but we couldn't. We ourselves didn't have true love of God. We had a little bit of love of ourselves. It says the Mashiach is going to make the tzaddikim do tshuva. Zman Kiyum Mitzvahs then we'll be able to do the commandments in completion in the days of the Mashiach. Sheyeh hakravas korbanos, there'll even be the sacrificing of sacrifices, kamitzvahs like God's will, Masha'enkim, which is not the case now in the time of exile. And asiyata mitzvahs, even in the time of the Holy Temple, it wasn't the way God wanted. That's what we say, then we will be able to do the commandments like you want. All the time of the first, second temples, it wasn't the way God wanted. Why? Not that we didn't know what the law was, and not that we didn't do the law, but we didn't do it in the way that God wanted. Then we will be able to do the commandments kiratzon mamash, really like you want. Then Adam will be Adam, even higher. Ella la'ilui nefesh. Then there will be, in the days of the Mashiach, will be the soul will be fixed up. Shiitaken b'chinas Adam. Then this level of man will be fixed up. Shalo yiyeh Adam ein lavod. It won't be like it was before Adam was created. It says there was no rain because there was no man to work on the ground, no one to pray for rain. But the main service of the Lashamra, but the main really service of God will be not in the time of the temple, but it will be in the days of the Mashiach Davka. And just to show you how exaggerated it is, when the Jews received the Torah at Mount Sinai, it says that everyone saw and heard and felt God. And it says their souls jumped out of their bodies, they became like new people. Really? 40 days later, they all worshiped the golden calf. They didn't all worship, they all participated somehow or other, actively, passively. So it shows how far away they were from feeling what God wants us to feel. A person who's supposed to feel every moment tremendous gratitude that he's being created and appreciate the fact that he's being created and that he's being created for a purpose. That's even more amazing. That never happened, and it will happen in the days of the Mashiach. But tefillah, the prayer, prayer nowadays, which is in the place of the sacrifice, which is the elevation of our soul, who connected a karbonis is in the place of the sacrifices. It's not really the same thing as the sacrifices will be in the holy temple. Why? Because there, because when they were in the temple, they could elevate all of the worlds, like it was with man when he was put into Gan Eden. He was put there to elevate the whole entire creation. Bichlal, to elevate everything, even to elevate the animal soul, Hayeredis Lamata, which is below in the earth. Okay. So that's what. So in other words, what are we talking about now? We're talking about the commandments. Doing the commandments. That's the main purpose of the Jewish people, is to do the commandments. Of course, one of the commandments is to learn the Torah. The ultimate commandments will be in the Holy Temple. But in order to do the commandments now the way God wants, so we have to wash them. And when Mashiach comes, our hearts will be different, and then they will be complete. We'll do the commandments with tremendous love and connection. But nowadays we have to wash the commandments with wine, and that's what the commandments are. The garments, and the Rebbe said. Remember yesterday we learned there's two types of garments: garments of the body and garments of the head. And this we have to wash with wine, the white wine, the red wine. We have to wash them because they're dirty. Said the Rebbe. Remember, even the evil Jews that don't have any commandments, they're filled with commandments. This is like a pomegranate. If pomegranate is filled with seeds. But the commandments are inside and they're all dirty. They're covered with dirt, with bad thoughts and emotions and this. And the only way to clean them off is a person has to get excited about the Creator a little bit and excited about the reason he's here in the world. And then he comes to love and awe and fear, and he fixes himself up with awe and fear with the red wine and with joy with the white wine. Hine al bechinas gefen yain, on this level of wine we talked about, it says asiri legefen iro. That he will. It's written iro with cholim. It says he will tie to the vine his donkey. The Mashiach will tie to the vine his donkey. What does this mean? Perush, it means should be the mota Mashiach, that in the days of the Mashiach will be Yishlam, that will be completed this level of Adam, Bechinat Adam. Man will finally reach the level of Adam, being a man. As then Klal Yisrael, then all the Jewish people will be Mitalim on a very, very high level of humanity and awareness and sensitivity. And what do you want to hear? Humanness. Then there will be this level of what's called the grapes and wine, hamasameach, which makes us happy. B'simcha shel mitzvah, we will enjoy doing the commandments. Why will we enjoy doing the commandments? Because the commandments give pleasure to God, and we will enjoy giving pleasure to the Creator. V'gam asirei, that's what it means. Asir, osri, it says osri legefen, oser with a yud. This level of yud, which is the first letter of God's name, yud and then hey and then vav hey, which represents God's chachma. Chachma is the power of, you want to call it life, pure existence. Hu bechinet chachma ilah, this is the upper wisdom of God, source of the Torah. Hu oser umakasher lebechinet gefen, he will attach this upper wisdom of God to this level of gefen, of wine. It's just look and see and etc. It gives you places to look. This is the Tzemach Tzedek wrote. What does this mean? He'll tie in other words, the upper wisdom of God, the Torah, will be tied to this level of gefen, which he said is joy. The wine that comes out of the grapes, tremendous joy. Al Yidei, by means of this, will be the level of iro, will be his donkey. What is this? His donkey. Says the Rebbe, listen, 1 second. Kihine, iro, this word iro, sovel, contains beit perushim, two meanings. One of them is ir pera adam nolad. It says a donkey, a wild donkey, man is born. And another is Ir is a city, the city of God. It says, when is God great? God is great when he's in the city of God. And it's explained in a lot of places. What does it mean, the city of God? The city of God is the universe, the world. Why is it called a city? Because it's created from letters. God created the world from letters, right? That's what it says in the Bible. God spoke and created the world. Well, he created the world from letters. That's a lot of Kabbalistic secrets are found in these letters of God's creation. If you know how to use the letters, you can actually be a partner with God in creation. It says that the people in the Gemara, they created a human being, Rabba Bra Gavra, created a human being. And the same thing as it says the Maharal Miprag, they knew how to use these letters of the book of Sefer Yetzirah. That's what it says. That's what it means. The letters are powers of creation. Ir Elohim, the city of God, is all of the letters of God's creative force that creates the universe. The city of God is the world, the universe. So what does it mean? He ties to the vine. We said that the vine is this love of God and the connection to the Torah. Asri, it says he ties the yud. And not only that, he also ties his donkey. The donkey is two things. Number one, the animal soul, that a person can act like an animal. And also the entire world, the entire universe. What does this mean? You can tie it all to the wine. What is it to the vine? What do we say the vine is? Fear of God, love of God, joy with God. It's the wine that's hidden inside of the grapes, the appreciation of God hidden inside of every Jew. He will tie his donkey to this, or he'll tie the whole universe. Let's explain this. Ki'ir pero adam yulad. There's a pasuk that says, a man is born like a wild donkey. What does it mean, perish yulad? Hari? Kishal midos etzlo katolasam. If a person just allows his emotions to act naturally, the tivo, like he was when they were born, naturally, shalom nefchao etzlo, that he is totally selfish, and they don't transform la'amod keneged tivo, that a person does not try to transform himself and defy his own nature. This is the service of man, lamod negativo, to go against his nature, hakasheh, his hard natural nature, to transform it, to defy it, mipnei, because of ahavat Hashem v'yirato, loving God and his fear. Right, that was one of the big enemies of the Alter Rebbe, perhaps the greatest enemy of the Alter Rebbe and Chabad in general. Now it stopped with the Rebbe, was France, because Napoleon, especially Napoleon, and Yutet Kislev, maybe we spoke about it, but the whole idea of Napoleon and French philosophy in general was to be nice, to be free, be nice to the Jews. You want the Jews to assimilate. You want the Jews to leave Judaism. Just encourage them to act natural, act normal. Tell them that they're okay the way they are. Right? Like you said, be yourself. Just do it. That was the French philosophies, right? French philosophies. They have these big philosophers also. They're called the existentialists. We're just what there is. That's what there is. There's no meaning. There's no God. There's no purpose. There's no anything. Just there's just you. Just do it the best way you can. Get along in the world. Get the most pleasure out of life, and that's it. Being natural. That's the biggest enemy of Judaism. That's the biggest enemy. There's no God. There's no holiness. You don't have to defy anything. There's no higher purpose than you. Just you yourself. That's all there is. Negative akasha, because of the love of God. In one way, in a big way, in fact, maybe we can even say in a bigger way, that was the ideal of Zionism. The ideal of Zionism is that now Judaism is not going to be holy. You have no reason to defy your nature. You just be yourself. There's no such thing as a Jew being different from anybody else or God telling us what to do. Nature, just be natural. We'll be a people like every other people. We'll be a nation like every nation. We'll have an army. We'll have this. We'll have this. That was the idea. Don't defy yourself. That's called a ear. That's called a wild donkey. That's how people were born. When nature, Messiah helps you. This is not really a complete service. I'm sorry, not helps you, which is not the case. When your nature carries you away, this is not any type of a service of God. This is called a wild man. When a person is attached to this level of geffen, what does this geffen mean? We said wine that comes out of the geffen, that comes out of the grapes by means of crushing it. Umina regulus, namely that a person goes out of his normal feelings and urges. Canal, then nasa iro ir Hashem. Then he transforms the wild donkey to be the city of God. Shu b'chinas ir Elokeinu. This is the city of God. Kamosha amarnu, like we said, Shamru Razal, Amosai Nikra Gadol. When is God called great? Kishu b'ir Elokeinu. When is God called great? When he is in the city of God. Like we said, in the universe, all these letters and creations, amazing, incredible. The King David said, Ma rabu masecha, ma gadlu masecha. Look how many creations you made. Look how immense your creations are. They're all created from God's letters. That's called the city of God, the whole world. So what do we say? We said before, the grape, when it's crushed, first of all, the best grapes are the lowest grapes. You want to do what it says in this mimer. First of all, you have to have humility. You have to understand you're not God. You're a creation. And you have to appreciate that below. Then you have to crush yourself. What does it mean, crush yourself? You have to defy your own nature. Defy your nature. You have to work on yourself, right? A person has to think, listen, I can't do just what I want to. I can't say what I want to. I can't look what I want to. I have to do what God wants. We learned before in the Sikh about done. Then it says when that happens, there comes out two types of wine. There comes out one type of wine, which is red wine, which the Rebbe here says corresponds to bitterness. That a person thinks, wow, am I far away from God? I really have to take myself into control. I really have to stop loving myself so much and loving the world so much, and I have to start loving the Creator. The Creator is creating me. He's creating the world. I have to start loving. He gave us the Torah. A person starts this love, the bitterness, and then when he comes to this love, that's called the white wine. Then that's happiness. He feels joy. He says that's transforming the ear, the wild donkey, by means of the wine of the geffen, tying it to the geffen, tying it to the grape, the wine, tying it to the grape. He transforms the donkey to the city of God. Then after that, it says, Ulishareka b'nei atano. And it says, and also to another aspect of the vine, what to the branch of the vine, the son of his mule. That's what it says in the Torah. The Moshiach will tie to the branch or to the trunk of the grapevine, he will tie the son of his mule. What is sureka? Sureka. This is zmura raka. He said this is a soft branch, not the trunk, a soft branch of the vine. The yalada, one which was just sprouted. Shanavea muatim, that has very few grapes. Va'adin and still me'at yain, a little bit wine comes out of it. This is called sureka, with a shuruk. A shuruk, you know what a shuruk is? Let's see, do I have a siddur over here? Why don't I have a siddur? There's the shuruk. Don't have the shuruk. They take away all of my siddur in here. All right. A shuruk looks like 3 dots, one under the other one. Why is this here? One second. Here, maybe it's in here. Is it in here? I doubt it. Let's see. Here it is. Yes. It's here. Look. Here is a. He doesn't say it like that. Okay, this is really the shuruk. He puts it over here, the kibbutz. Here it says shuruk. See? Can you see where my finger is? Let's see if I can get this over here. Here it is. Shuruk. This. Shuruk. This is a shuruk. See? Shuruk, 3 lines. This is a segel. Also 3 lines. 3 dots, I'm sorry. 3 dots. 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. A shuruk, though, is like this. 3 dots, 1 underneath the other. To translate this right and left, there we go. Good? Good. That's the shuruk, okay. Okay, La Soreka, right? So it says Sora can also be pronounced Shuruk, like I showed you. This is the Nakuda of Shuruk. Soreka is what's the difference of Shuruk? A Geffen, the letter Geffen has 2 segels. Gimel has a segel under it. And remember, like I showed you, it's 3 dots. A segel is 3 dots, 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom, in the middle. This is the level of a segel. And also the Nakuda of Geffen. Look at this. The printing didn't come out good. Geffen has 2 segels in it. It's supposed to be dashes. Geffen or something is a segel. It's punctuated with 2 segels. Ge, fe, e. Like it says, Geffen Mitzrayim Tasiya. It says God took the Jews out of Egypt. They were called a cluster of grapes. Geffen. The Jews are likened to a cluster of grapes. Kasaharim Tzila says that they covered the mountains, their shadow. This is the level of a tzeil, like it says, God is my shadow. Hainu yeshes choshes sisro. This is the darkness. This is the ola lamaylo umechase et harim, that they are the avos. These are what's called the Geffen that went out of Egypt. This is this is okay. It says this Geffen is the letter Segel. Geffen is corresponding to the level of Segel. And it says, even though that the mountains are covered over by darkness, it says, nevertheless, the fathers, they are the mountains. The harim, harim, the harim of the harim Ashurenu, the harim are the Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. The fathers, they are these three levels on the letter Segel. This is the level of Geffen. But the Sureka, this is the Shuruk. This is a Shuruk. The Shuruk also has 3 points, like we said, like I showed you. It has the same 3 points, but they're one below the other. Okay, what's the Rebbe one? Now we have to remember one thing. The world is created from God's letters. So on one hand, it seems that the Rebbe is just playing games with phonetics and with it's not so. These are the created. It's not the letters are part of the world. The world is part of these letters. So there's a big difference between the punctuation shuruk and the punctuation segal. In shuruk, they're in an orderly way. 2 on the top, 1 in the middle, on the bottom, below it. A shuruk, there's one below the other one. They're not in an orderly way. Okay, Kainine. Kisha'adam, when a person is close to God, hitkarvut v'hitlavut, an excitement about the Creator. Bekoach, because of Gimel Nekudos, these 3 points of the Segal, Mimata Lamayla, 1 below and 2 above. V'hamamutza, then it's called the level Segal. Then it's called the level Segal. In an orderly way, from below there's 1, on the top there's 2, and the 1 on the bottom is in the middle, it raises up. When he was far away from God, that he isn't just in a way of, how do you say, surrendering himself to Hashem, in other words, going against his own will, asking Hashem for help, Kolomer Shiyadah, that he knows that he's far away from God. V'naseh kafuf umoda, but nevertheless, he becomes surrendered and he begs, like we saw that in the beginning of last week's Torah portion, begs God for help, then ein arev lo legeshet, then it's not pleasant for him. Ve'ein arav libo, then his heart does not have the power legeshet, to become close to God. Bitulo, because he is surrendering himself for God. That's called a shuruk. Okay, so shuruk means when a person, so to speak, knocks himself out, wipes himself out. Right? A person that's a terrible sinner, he did bad things, he was far away from God, he ate what he shouldn't eat, and he did what he shouldn't do. He did all sorts of transgressions. He didn't do anything he was supposed to do. And suddenly he realizes, wow, I'm a Jew. I really messed things up. I really have to change myself. And his friends say, come, let's have a good time on Shabbos. No, come, let's eat lobster. No, I'm not going to do it. Right? What happened to you? What happened? You went crazy? Yes, he's like a Baal Tshuva. He's just like a Baal Tshuva. I don't want to, I'm just, leave me alone. I'm just surrendered in front of God. Right? I realize my whole life is a big mistake. That's the level of a shuruk. one below the other. Shlosh nekudas zeh lamata mizu. Each one is one below the other. Humility, that's all he has. Kolomar, in other words, shemashpil at atzmo, that he casts himself down, mata mata, below below, like it goes down. Liot rachok be'einav, that he feels suddenly, wow, I am so far away from God. Lagia bazeh ma'omru mi anochi, I am nothing. Wow, look what I've done with my life. I've wrecked everything up. I thought I was the boss. I was the king. I realized I just made terrible mistakes. I just just sullied myself, made myself dirty. I'm so far away from God. Now I can come into the palace with all these dirty garments. How can I do it? That's represented by the level of shuruk. It goes down. By means of this, by means of this, he makes his donkey, which that's his old self. Bechinas b'ni. What does it say? B'nei atano. He ties to the Gavin B'nei, the son of his mule, donkey. B'nei, he makes from his mule into B'ni, into a son. B'nei atano. Bechinat ben. This humility makes him very dear to God. Like it says, Bani matem l'Hashem Elokeichem. Liot kamo bra, like it says, a son is like the leg of his father. So what are we saying? Judaism teaches like this. It totally depends on you. It depends on you, your attitude and relationship to your Creator. It all depends on you. If a person decides, wow, I'm so far away from God, I have to make myself closer, I have to change myself, I can't keep doing what I'm doing, then at that second, he transforms from a donkey into B'ni Atano. B'ni transforms to a son of God. The Jews are called the sons of God. Bani Matem. This transformation, how does a person do it? By means of what we said before, washing your garments with wine. In other words, every Jew has inside of them all these commandments. Even the biggest sinners, they have the commandments hidden inside of themselves. But they're covered with all this dirt. You have to wash it with the wine. Chibes. What does it mean? Chibes means avar, that he washed with wine. Shetach l'tashlemut, the ultimate purpose of the days of the Moshiach and the days of and reaching this level of Adam, man, like we said before, will become, in order to become Iro, to become the city of God and to become a son of God, Ben, who al yadei, by means that the whole thing comes by means of this wine that is provided by Mashiach. Now, wine is on one hand the inside of the soul, but wine is also the teachings of Chassidut, the secrets of the Torah, by means of the wine of Galut. She'al yadei, that by means of avodatenu, by means of our service of God in the time of exile, Torah that we said, that's the red wine, to arouse this love and joy, the red wine, the white wine of the mitzvahs, by means of this, is hapcha chashucha, there's transformed darkness to light. And this is the purpose of the days of the Mashiach. That's one of the reasons why the Rebbe insisted, even the boys in the yeshiva, they all go out on Fridays and they put tefillin on people. And you'd be amazed. I'm amazed. I've been doing it already for 40 years. I'm amazed at people, totally non-religious people that say, no, get away from me. And then 5 minutes later, they come back and they say, okay. And the feeling of happiness that they have when they put on, it's quite amazing. And they're doing this religious act that takes them like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, in public. It says, that's what it means by means of the commandments, doing the commandments in a way of love. So this washes all the garments. It washes out all the inside. It reveals that we are really part of the city of God. Even more, we're the sons of God. And that's this wine that's hidden inside of every single Jew that comes out with the commandments. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is, can we get to this? Yes, let's try. Then it says, the last thing it says about over here about the Mashiach is that his eyes will be red. The last thing it says about the Mashiach, that he will make it, It says about in the blessing for Yehuda, it says that his eyes will be red from wine and his teeth will be white from milk. What does that mean? If we take it simply, it means that we have to look, one of the qualifications of Mashiach, that he has to have red eyes because he drank so much wine, and his teeth have to be white. Of course, that's ridiculous. It's certainly not so. But that seems to be, that's why we have to have an explanation of what's going on over here. And what does this mean to, what's it got to do with Mashiach? We just finished saying that the main accomplishment of Mashiach is he's going to wake up all the Jews that they'll want to do, and they will do the commandments with a tremendous love and enthusiasm. And then they'll be able to do all the commandments. The third temple will be built and we'll be able to do all the commandments. And now it says that there's even more. Mashiach is going to bring an additional feature. He's going to make our eyes red from wine and our teeth white from milk. Hine gabiyain, by means of wine. What is wine? It says, Tiroshi, my wine, Hamasamech Elokim, which makes God and man happy. It's a whole mashal over there with Gidon. The vine says, take my wine, which makes God and man happy. What does it mean, wine that makes God happy? How can wine have power to make God happy? What does that mean? That's what Mashiach is going to do. Hine, it says, Nichnas Yanyo, it says so. It says that when wine comes in, secrets come out. The secrets inside of every Jew, the hidden love of every Jew is compared to wine. The Inyan, it means like this, the Torah has two levels, wine and milk. Like it says, Lahu, Shivru, V'ochlu, it says, come and eat with me, break bread and let us eat. Below kesef for free. Or below mechir and without any price. Yayin v'chalav, wine and milk. What does this mean? There's two types of love. Two types of love of God. One type of love of God is, one second, give me a second. Yes, we're going to have to finish this tomorrow. Okay, one type of love is called Ahavat Olam. It's called love of the world that comes from the world. This type of love comes from thinking about God is creating the world. How amazing it is. But we can't create anything. We don't even know what it means to create something from nothing. We have no concept what it means, nothing. And God is creating everything from nothing. Every little bug, every little atom. From thinking about that, God is creating the stars, the sky. That comes love from the world. And there's Ahava Rabbah. Then there's what's called great love. Ahavat Olam is love which is revealed. Ahava Rabbah, this great love, this is love which is inside, concealed inside of every Jew. The interconnection of every Jew with the essence of God. Well, I haven't to understand, why is this called a hidden love? Why is it called big love? But we're not going to get to the answer. The answer is on the next page. Achine, the love of the world, comes love which comes from the worlds. Hainu machmas hizbonus, because you contemplate how it is that God, mechadish betuvo, that God creates constantly all that exists, spiritually, physically. If you read of the prophets, talks about that they talk to these angels, they saw these angels, and that the Gemara explains angels are like a third as big as the universe, or 3 times as big as the universe, and the infinite number of angels, and God's creating them all the time, and all the little grains of grass and all the little planets and things like that. God is creating everything all the time. Incredible. When you think about this, you realize, wow, who am I praying to? Right? Who am I? This brings about a love. Just think about it. God is Mehavi, creates from nothing to something every day. Love of Malchus says every day means like what happens every day. The sun comes up every day. So that's really happening constantly. This is B'kal Yom Tamid. That's really happening constantly. Mibechinas Malchus, God creates everything from his power of kingship. It's called his mouth. Like it says, Malchutcha, Malchut Kol Olamim. God, your kingship is your lowest aspect, your kingship. That's God's lowest aspect. That's the king of all the world. That creates all the worlds. Shkol olamot, that all the worlds, the upper worlds and the lower worlds, they are enlivened and they are brought into existence from just God's kingship, which this is called Mamali, calling how God fills the world and God surrounds the world. Ata mechayet kulam, God, you enliven everything. And it says, don't say mechayel lamahave. And God is not like the soul that enlivens the body. When you think about this, you come to what's called natural love of God. But then there's a higher type of a love of God, which that type of love of God is called, this is natural. Let's see, we'll have to skip down. Can we do it? Huh? I want to try to finish this. Oh, about the Ava Rabba, this what's called big love, this comes from your soul. This comes from where you were. This is a gift that comes from God. This is an amazing gift. Okay, let's see. Can we do it? Let's see. What's this got to do with our red eyes and white teeth? The difference between the love from the world, Ahavat Olam, and great love, which is a gift from God, only essentially possessed by the Jewish people, it's in the essence of the soul of every Jew, is the love that comes from the world, comes because of hitbonenut, comes from contemplation and deep thinking. This type of love stops. As soon as you turn your heart to other things and you're busy in your thought with the world, then the love goes away, which is not the case. This big love is essence. It's rooted in your soul. Its soul is in your soul. Just like I never stop, so my love never stops. Just like my soul enlivens me, but this is your godly soul. It never stops. That even when you're doing other things, then there is nothing opposite it. This is like the big tzaddikim, right? Nothing can bother you. Therefore, this love is just like in a hint. This love is always remaining like a trace of it to be stuck in your heart. Never moves forever. How can you get this love? How can you reveal this inner love from inside of your soul? That it will reach this level, bakal miodecha. This, by the way, is what's going to be in the days of the Mashiach. In the days of the Mashiach, every Jew is going to be a tzaddik. Every Jew is going to have constant love for reality, for the creator of reality. How can we reach this level now? On this it says he washes with wine, because this wine, this is the secret which is inside of the soul. Then when you get to this wine, this is the secret. This is the Torah, which is called wine, especially Chassidut. Like the rabbis say, Arevim alai divrei sofrim, it is sweet to me, the words of the rabbis, more than the wine of the Torah. What's the wine? This is this love. It says that God saw the light and it was good. This is good. This light is hidden in the Torah. All right, I see that we're not going to, there's more than what it says over this. The next paragraph it says that what are the teeth? Your teeth are what chews up. In order for a person to deal with the world, to chew up the world, he has to have teeth. It says there's the 32 teeth of the 32 paths of wisdom, chewing up the world. For them to be white and for you to judge the world positively with love, that's chesed, kindness all the time, says that will be also another one of the accomplishments of the Mashiach, to bring us to be able to chew up and to digest everything that happens to us in the most positive ways there are. Look, you can finish it on your own in Torah Ohr. And now we're going to learn a Sikha of the Rebbe. The last 20 minutes that we have, a Sikha of the Rebbe. We finished the Sikha already. That was